To the outside world, we were the perfect family. I, Daniel Carter, was a successful architect, and my wife, Emily, was a dedicated school teacher. Our two kids, Jake, 12, and Lily, 8, were the light of our lives. We lived in a peaceful suburban neighborhood, where barbecues and PTA meetings were the norm. Our life wasn't without its challenges, but Emily and I had always been a team. Or so I thought. Then, that fateful night happened. It was a typical Wednesday evening. Emily had cooked her famous lasagna, and we sat around the table, sharing stories about our day. Jake talked about a soccer match at school, and Lily proudly showed off a drawing she had made. Everything was normal, until Jake asked an innocent question. "Mom, why don't we ever talk about your family?" The room went silent. I looked at Emily, expecting her to smile and brush off the question like she always did. But this time, her face turned pale. Her hands trembled as she placed her fork down. I don't know what to say," she whispered. Jake frowned. "But everyone else in class has grandparents. We've never met yours. Did something happen?" Lily, ever the innocent one, chimed in. "Yeah, Mommy. You never talk about Grandma and Grandpa." I had never pushed Emily on this topic before. Every time I asked about her past, she either changed the subject or gave vague answers. I had assumed she had her reasons. But now, in front of our children, the question loomed heavier than ever. And then, Emily broke. She buried her face in her hands, her shoulders shaking with sobs. "Mom?" Jake's voice was filled with concern. I reached out, placing my hand on hers. "Emily, whatever it is, we're here. You don't have to hide anymore." She looked up at me, eyes filled with a mix of fear and sorrow. "I never told you because I wanted to protect you all. But I can't keep running from the truth anymore." Emily took a deep breath, steadying herself before she spoke. "My parents, they aren't who you think they are." Jake and Lily looked at each other in confusion. "What do you mean?" Jake asked. Emily hesitated, glancing at me as if seeking permission to continue. I gave her a reassuring nod. "They're criminals." The words hung in the air like a bombshell. I felt my stomach drop. "What?" Emily's eyes welled with tears. "They were con artists. Not just petty thieves, but masterminds of some of the biggest fraud cases in the country." Jake's fork clattered onto his plate. "Grandma and Grandpa are criminals?" Emily nodded, guilt etched across her face. "When I was young, I didn't understand what they did. I just knew we moved a lot, and they had different names in every city. They always had money, but we never stayed in one place for too long. When I turned 16, I found out the truth. My parents had been scamming people for years, stealing identities, emptying bank accounts, running elaborate cons." I could barely process her words. My wife, the woman I had loved for over a decade, had been raised by criminals? "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Emily exhaled shakily. "Because I was ashamed. I cut ties with them when I turned 18 and changed my last name. I wanted to start fresh. I built a life away from them, away from their crimes. I thought if I buried the past deep enough, it wouldn't catch up with me." "But, have they tried to contact you?" I asked, a terrible feeling creeping into my gut. Emily hesitated before nodding. "Yes. A few weeks ago."
Emily pulled out her phone and scrolled through her messages. She handed it to me, and I saw a text from an unknown number. "Emily, it's time to come home. We need you. You know you can't run forever." A chill ran down my spine. "They found me," Emily whispered. Lily started crying, clutching her mother's arm. "Are they going to take you away?" "No, sweetheart," Emily said, hugging her tightly. "I won't let them near us. Ever." Jake looked angry. "But why do they want you now?" Emily swallowed hard. Because they're in trouble. They need my help. And they won't stop until they get what they want. I stood up, pacing the kitchen. Emily, we need to go to the police. She shook her head. I can't. If I report them, they might retaliate. And if they find out where we live? I clenched my fists. We can't just sit and wait for them to come knocking on our door. Emily bit her lip. I have one more option. I turned to her. What? She took a deep breath. I need to face them. One last time. My heart pounded. Are you insane? That's exactly what they want. Emily looked at me with steely determination. If I don't, they won't stop. I need to make them understand I'm not part of their world anymore.
The next evening, we met them at a quiet diner outside town. I held Emily's hand tightly as we walked in. Sitting at a booth were two people who looked like normal, respectable citizens. But I knew better. Her father, Richard, gave a sly smile. Emily. Long time no see. Her mother, Diane, sipped her coffee. You look good. The suburban life suits you. Emily stood firm. I'm not here to catch up. I want you to leave me and my family alone. Richard chuckled. Oh, sweetheart. You know it's not that simple. Diane leaned forward. We need a favor. Just one. Then we're out of your life forever. Emily's jaw tightened. No. I'm done. If you ever contact me again, I'll go to the police. Richard's smile faded. Are you sure about that? Emily didn't flinch. Yes. Diane sighed. Fine. But remember, we always find a way. That night, we packed our bags and left town. I knew they wouldn't stop easily, but I also knew Emily had made her choice. Her real family was with us, not them. As we drove away, Emily squeezed my hand. Thank you for standing by me. I kissed her forehead. We'll get through this. Together. And for the first time in years, I saw the weight lift from her shoulders. She was finally free.